Frank was pivotal in a couple different ways. One, he helped make sure, in addition to delivering media campaigns that gave us full visibility into pipeline impact, he also helped us shift our strategy from a broader demand gen strategy to reverse engineering it into more of an account-based marketing strategy, where we were starting to go after very specific targets that were a very strong fit for our portfolio thesis, as compared to driving or creating demand and then sort of sifting through the inbound to figure out which were a good fit.
Hi, Sandra. Thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. Can you quickly introduce yourself and your previous role at Thrasio, please?
Yes, so my name is Sandra Rand, and I was the VP of Corporate Marketing at Thrasio.
Awesome. And can you introduce Thrasio a little bit more, give some background into what the company actually does?
Thrasio was the first and largest Amazon aggregator in the aggregator category, and we acquired Amazon brands through M&A so that we could build them into our portfolio, stabilize the brand, and then diversify their sales channels.
Awesome. And getting into your work with Frank, what projects or challenges were you facing before working with Frank?
So one of the challenges that we had that we were facing, that Frank was sort of a linchpin in helping us right the ship, was this notion of our business vision evolving over time. And as such, it requires marketers to sort of stay in lockstep with the sales and sort of business vision. And things were changing very often. So we were looking for a leader that could come in and assess what we had going on with their existing demand gen strategy and keep us in lockstep strategically with the sales and business vision, so that we could sort of keep up with those changing mile markers, both strategically and then sort of operationally in channels.
Absolutely. And when you brought Frank in, could you speak on the campaign that you ran and the goal of what you were trying to achieve when you were running that campaign?
Yeah, so when Frank came in, the business was still very young, and I think one of the things that we were doing is that we were trying to we were still first just identifying the channels that were the best fit for us to reach our ICP. And so we had broader paid media campaigns that were running, and they were very much targeted at sort of a broader subset of a broader sort of pool of our ICP, because we didn't necessarily want to be too prescriptive in how we got in front of our key personas. Over time, that started to crystallize a little bit more on the sales side, and we had to change our strategy to be a little bit more targeted. And so Frank was able to help us pivot a little bit and make sure that we were being very efficient with our media spend, and just overall our demand gen strategy was shifting in a way that supported the business's goals.
Absolutely. And what results did Frank help you achieve? Any metrics or outcomes that you can share?
I don't know the metrics off the top of my head,
That's
if I'm
okay.
being quite
That's all
honest. So use the ones that he gives you in the case study. But Frank was pivotal in a couple different ways. One, he helped make sure, in addition to delivering media campaigns that gave us full visibility into pipeline impact, he also helped us shift our strategy from a broader demand gen strategy to reverse engineering it into more of an account-based marketing strategy, where we were starting to go after very specific targets that were a very strong fit for our portfolio thesis, as compared to driving or creating demand and then sort of sifting through the inbound to figure out which were a good fit. So he helped us make that shift. I'll also say he acted as a very reliable and trusted mentor to the team. Like I said, the company was very young, therefore the team was very young. We had all only been working together for a few months at a time, and the team went from myself, one person, to 30 people in like 18 months. And so
Wow.
Frank was someone with experience and someone that was able to come in and serve as a mentor to help bring the team members together, but then also help folks in our sort of demand gen world like continue to hone their skills, and give them the tools that they needed to get better and level up and increase their performance. So he had a very broad impact in the time that we worked together.
Absolutely. And if you could dive a little bit deeper in how those results and the impact that Frank had, how did that impact you and the company?
So me as a VP and a head of a team, I've said this, one of the things that I always look for when I hire people is this philosophy around hiring higher. And that was very good advice that was given to me earlier in my career. And because of that, I knew that Thrasio was very specifically was an organization that needed people that had a lot of experience in seats where they could operate both strategically at a high level to functionally have ownership in their role, but then also get their hands dirty and get the job done themselves. And I knew because of the very fast growth trajectory of the company that very quickly a lot of these people that were in these seats may either need to manage people or potentially be hired over as we added layers to the team just because of the growth and the scale of the organization and what that required. So Frank came in with that mindset. He originally came in just to sort of provide coverage during a 3-month leave for one of our team members, but very quickly asserted himself as a strategic leader that could not just take that person and as they returned back from their leave, bring them up to speed on some of the changes that the business required us to make, but then also help mentor her so that she felt more confident in the way that she owned her function of demand gen. It was not a stepping on her toes way at any way. It was him taking her and helping level her up. She's now a director. With his guidance, I think he gave her a lot more confidence in how she was running her program, her demand gen program, and teaching her a lot about account-based marketing, which she hadn't had access to before, or hadn't had exposure to before. And so me being able to be very hands off from this sort of mentorship and helping to grow the team was just one way that it was very helpful. Don't get me wrong, I don't disappear on my team, and I like to be very involved in their growth and development, but knowing that he was a very trusted advisor to some of these team members and helping them feel more confident in their roles was very helpful, just based on the volume of work that we had and the speed at which the company was running. Sorry, I'll answer the second part of your question,
Go ahead.
On top of that, his impact on the business was he was the one that raised the flag and said, I think it's time that we start to pivot to account-based marketing. And so I give him all of that credit in helping marketing pivot very quickly to this model where we were going after very specific Amazon sellers that were a much better fit for us versus trying to straddle account-based marketing and some of this broader brand work. And the speed at which the company operated required us to move so fast that he helped make those sharp decisions and those sharp left turns so that we could keep up. I give him all the credit for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And last question for you, Sandra. If someone was considering working with Frank, what would you tell them today?
Frank is both confident and experienced, but he's also very flexible. And he's not someone that sort of rests on his laurels. He knows what he knows, but he's also a lifelong learner. And so I know that he is someone that is always staying ahead of his game. I know that he is elbows deep in AI right now, helping to make sure that his skill set represents and brings to his clients and the companies that he works with the most up-to-date ways that marketers can be using these tools for their strategies in 2025 and beyond. And so I know that he always stays ahead of the curve. He's always someone that's going to be, one step ahead of where other marketers typically are. And your clients benefit from that. His clients will benefit from that because they will be able to pivot and sort of see around corners in terms of marketing strategies that will lead them to success. Frank is a fantastic partner to leadership and is also just very unassuming and builds relationships very, very easily.
Great. Thanks so much for your time, Sandra. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, happy to help.